Okay, so have you ever noticed how your favorite coffee shop can raise their prices and the line is still out the door? But if a tech store does the same thing, suddenly it's a ghost town. Well, today, we're digging into the billion-dollar question that every single business has to face.
So let's just jump right in with the big one. You've got a product, you decide to hike the price. I mean, that's got to mean more revenue, right? It seems like basic math. Sell something for more, make more money. But as you're about to see, it is absolutely not that simple.
The real answer? Well, it all boils down to how your customers are going to react. And there's this one incredibly powerful economic concept that helps businesses predict exactly that. It's almost like having a crystal ball for pricing. In that concept, it's called the price elasticity of demand. The best way to think about it is like an economic rubber band. Once you understand how much this rubber band can stretch, you start to see the hidden rules of pricing all around you.
So, what exactly is this PED, or price elasticity of demand? Put simply, it's just a way to measure how sensitive your customers are to a price change. You know, do they just shrug it off, or do they immediately start looking for alternatives?
And this rubber band analogy, it's pretty much perfect. If demand is elastic, it's super stretchy. A tiny little pull, like a small price increase, and demand stretches way back, which means your sales drop off a cliff. But if demand is inelastic, it's more like a stiff piece of wire. You can yank on it, raise that price, and demand barely even budges. And here's where we see it in the real world. On one side, you've got your elastic goods. These are the nice-to-haves or things with lots of substitutes, like going out for dinner or buying a new sailboat. If the price goes up, you can just not. But on the other side, you've got your inelastic goods. These are the absolute must-haves. Things like gasoline to get to work, salt for your food, or crucial medications. The price goes up, well, you pretty much still have to buy them.
Okay, so stretchy and stiff are great for getting the idea, but businesses need actual hard numbers. So how do we really calculate this stuff and get a precise measurement? Now, you'd think you could just use a simple percentage change formula. But here's the weird thing about that. The math gives you one answer if the price goes from A to B, but a totally different answer if it goes from B to A. And a tool that gives you different results depending on which way you're looking? That's not very useful, is it?
So to solve this problem, economists came up with something called the midpoint method. Now, it might sound a little complicated, but the idea behind it is actually really smart and simple. Instead of using your start or endpoint as the base for your calculation, you just use the average, the midpoint of the two. This clever little trick guarantees you get the exact same number, whether prices are going up or down. All right, let's put it into practice. Imagine a bike shop doubles its price from $15 to $30, and as a result, sales drop from 30 bikes to 20. Now, we're not going to get lost in the weeds of the formula right now, but when you run those numbers through the midpoint method, you get an elasticity of 0.6. And you're going to want to remember that number because it is the key to this whole thing. And this right here is where the magic happens. That number, that 0.6, it's not just some random economic figure. It is the direct answer to our original question and shows us exactly how pricing decisions are going to hit the bottom line.
First, let's just do a super quick review. Total revenue is simply the price you sell an item for, multiplied by how many items you sell. It's the total cash coming in the door before you subtract any costs. Simple as that. Okay. This table is basically the holy grail for pricing. If your elasticity number is bigger than 1, demand is elastic. Your customers are super sensitive to price. And here's the crazy part. You could actually make more money by lowering your prices. But if your number is less than 1, like our bike shop at 0.6, demand is inelastic. That means you have pricing power. You can raise your prices and your total revenue will go up. And if you land exactly on 1, well, that's the sweet spot. The peak where your revenue is maximized.
Now check this out, because this is a really crucial point. A product's elasticity isn't just one fixed number forever. Look at this demand curve. Way up at the top left, where prices are super high, demand is very elastic. A small price drop can bring in a ton of new customers, which makes your total revenue shoot up. But as you slide down that curve to lower prices, demand becomes inelastic. The big takeaway here is that total revenue hits its absolute peak right in the middle, at that perfect spot where elasticity equals 1. If you keep lowering your price past that point, you actually start losing money.
But this whole idea isn't just a useful tool for some CEO trying to price a product. It has massive implications that go way beyond business, especially when it comes to public policy.
So let's just hammer this home with 3 simple rules to remember.
1. If demand is elastic, price and revenue are on a seesaw. Price goes up, revenue goes down. 2. If demand is inelastic, they're on the same team. Price goes up, revenue goes up. And 3, if it's unit elastic, you are at the very top of revenue mountain. Any change in price won't help you. And understanding this explains so much about how governments think about taxes. I mean, why are there always heavy taxes on things like gas, alcohol, and cigarettes? It's because governments know the demand for those products is incredibly inelastic. They can tack on a tax, which raises the price, but because people's buying habits don't change all that much, it becomes a super reliable way to generate revenue.
So from now on, whenever you see a price change, whether it's for your morning coffee or for a brand new smartphone, you have the tool to understand what's really going on. Just ask yourself, is the demand for this elastic or is it inelastic? You're not just a consumer anymore. You're seeing the hidden economic code that shapes the price of absolutely everything.